Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're going to be taking a look at how to set up and configure either the 9500ix or the S75G. They are virtually identical with all the same features and menu options and everything. There is one extra feature, kind of an older one on the 9500ix, which has since been removed on the S75G, so we'll cover that at the very end. Otherwise, all the features are the same. The only little difference in programming is when you're going into the menu option, we access it here with the mark and brightness buttons, as you can see right here. To change the options, we're going to use the volume up and down button on the S75G, but on the 9500ix you actually press the mute button to change the options. Otherwise, let's go ahead and take a look at the S75G and get familiar with it and start customizing it. Now, starting off with the buttons on top of the detector, we'll go ahead and kind of run through them here on the S75G and also show you the 9500ix so you can see what I'm doing. But starting with the GPS button right here, when we press that, you can see it's going to turn the GPS icon on and off. You'll definitely want to leave it turned on. That's going to enable your GPS filtering options like your low speed muting or your GPS lockouts. Definitely a handy feature. The sensitivity button right here is going to allow us to adjust the sensitivity of the detector. So highway mode is going to be full sensitivity on all bands at all times, no matter what speed we're traveling. Auto mode is going to reduce the sensitivity of like X band and K band to help kind of reduce some of the false alerts. So you get reduced false alerts at lower speeds, especially nice when you're going around shopping centers and whatnot. But when you're traveling faster at highway speeds, over 50 miles an hour, it'll give you full sensitivity. And then auto no X is the same thing, but it just disables X band altogether. Now up on here, top of the detector, we have our power button to turn the detector on and off. We can also use it to exit the menu when we get in here in just a second. We've got our volume buttons right there, which is going to adjust the volume of the detector. And it gives you a couple extra beeps after you let go so you can hear the volume. We've got our mute button here, which we can just press to mute an alert when it pops up on screen. And then on the right side of the detector, we have mark and bright. Mark is going to basically allow us to mark this location as like a speed trap, for example, if we want to get alerted to it every time we drive by. And then the other one here is going to be the brightness button. This is going to be nice to allow us to adjust the display brightness. Usually what you'll want to run it in is auto mode, and the idea is it has an ambient light sensor and the display can automatically get brighter in the daytime and then darken for you at night, which is really handy. If you like, you can run it in dark mode, and this is going to make your detector totally stealthy, where when you get an alert, the detector will, audibly play an alert tone for you, but you're not going to see anything. We've also got a couple of manual brightness level. You can either run it at minimum brightness, medium brightness, or maximum if you want kind of manual control over how bright the display is, but personally I like running it in auto. Anyway, let's hop into the menu next. We're going to go into that by pressing and holding the mark and mute button like this, and it'll drop us into the menu. Now the first thing is going to be our pilot screen. Basically, what do we see on screen when there's no signals present, right? We can either have it display what mode we're in, either auto mode like this, auto no X, or highway. We can have a simplified version like this, which is kind of the abbreviated, shorter version of it. We can have it do the same sort of thing, but just with the scanning dot displayed on screen. We can have it display our vehicle's voltage. Or we could even have it display our speed as we're driving around. The speed alert option lets us display our current speed during an alert. We've got a couple different ways of actually displaying alert information on screen. Now the standard one like this is just going to give you the band and the strength information of the signal. Spec display is also going to display the frequency of the primary signal, which is really nice. And then expert mode is going to allow us to see multiple signals at the same time, both the band as well as the signal strength. The auto learn feature is there to enable your GPS lockouts to happen automatically in the background, so that when you get a false alert rather, you'll actually see the GPS icon like this starting to spin on screen, and that lets you know that it's seen the signal, but it recognizes that's a false alert and it has it locked out for you automatically. As far as units, whether you want it to, in kilometers per hour or miles per hour, you've got that option. If you want the voice on and off, if you want it to actually announce the band, so like for example, you can hear it said completed.
GPS filter off. K band.
So as you can see, it's now got voice announcements for all the different menu options and radar alerts.
On. Off.
Auto power basically says after 4 hours of your detector being turned on, if you're stationary and haven't moved, it's going to automatically shut off your detector. Very useful feature if your radar detector is plugged into a power source that's always turned on and doesn't turn on and off with your car. That way it avoids draining your car battery. Now bands, here's where we can modify the different bands. We can turn X band on and off. It's really only in use in Ohio and New Jersey. So if you live in those states, you can run it turned on, but otherwise, generally you can run it turned off. K band on and off. It's pretty much used all over the country, so usually best to leave this on. Ka band, used everywhere, so definitely leave this band on. Pop is for detecting really brief bursts of radar, pretty much never used. Leave it turned off. You will get better performance and fewer false alerts, so you'll want to run with pop turned off. If you want laser detection, you can turn it on. If you don't, turn it off, but usually best just to leave it on, even though it won't help you avoid tickets. It's a nice to, get the alerts if you need them. TSR is traffic sensor rejection. It's pretty much designed to help you filter out, well, traffic sensors on the highway. They give you these repeated regular blasts of K-band radar. If you encounter those, definitely have TSR on, and for most people, you're going to want to have it turned on because it will help filter out a lot of the annoying blind spot falses. So for that reason, you'll also generally want to have TSR turned on as well. Finally, we can also get alerted to different GPS marked locations. So we've got what Escort calls other, just kind of everything else, other than your red light cameras, your red light / speed cameras, if they do both, or just your speed cameras that are not also red light cameras. And then you've also got your speed traps as well, where Escort knows there's commonly speed traps. And then back to other. And then once you're done, you just hit the power button and it drops you back to the main menu. Finally, for those of you guys running a 9500ix, it does have this SWS feature, which you can turn on and off. Basically, it's a feature that's been removed from the S75G because it's no longer in use. It never really took off. The idea was a safety warning system. That's what it stood for. And police and construction guys could actually have these K-band transmitters that could actually display on your detector, emergency vehicle ahead or construction ahead or things like that. It never really took off, and so it's actually being phased out of all the current detectors. You can leave it turned off because it's not in use, and you actually get better performance with the feature turned off. So leave SWS turned off, and there's a reason why they removed it. But anyway, that's one last thing here with the 9500ix. So anyway, there you go. There's a look at programming both the 9500ix as well as the S75G. Again, same thing, all the same features and everything except for that one little last thing, plus a little quirk here with that mute button instead of the volume to change the settings. But otherwise, same detector, and there's a look at all the different options and settings, what they mean and what they do. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Let me know. Other than that, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've got links in the video description if you want to pick up either of the detectors, and that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.